Welcome to this rapid revision video looking at the German Revolution, 1918 to 1919. Let's first of all consider Germany before 1918. How was it governed? Germany was quite a young country. It had been unified in 1871 as a federation of other states, such as Prussia and Bavaria, some of which you can see in that map. Germany was an autocracy under the king, Kaiser Wilhelm II. That meant that the king had control of all major parts of government. However, he didn't rule entirely alone. The Reichstag of elected officials advised the king and debated laws, a lot like a parliament, although very few people actually got to choose who was in there. However, the Kaiser still had the final say, and in 1914 he led his country into war. Let's have a look at the situation for Germany in the autumn of 1918. It's not looking good. Germany's situation on the Western Front in World War I was dire. Their army was in a managed retreat. Germany was under blockade too. British ships were preventing supplies getting in by sea, leading to shortages of food, fuel, and basically everything else that the German people needed. There was also the Kiel Mutiny. German soldiers had been ordered out on a hopeless mission against the Royal Navy in their battleships. They refused to sail. The soldiers who were sent to go and force them also backed the sailors and joined them. Workers at the Daimler motor plant in Stuttgart went on strike, despite their vital role in war production. People protested in the streets, and soldiers sent to force the workers back into the factories, just like in Kiel, instead sided with the workers. Also, there was rioting all over Germany as people became desperate with the lack of supplies and war weariness. On November the 7th, communists in Munich declared Bavaria an independent state, independent of Germany. That wouldn't hold, but it showed that the government under the Kaiser was beginning to fall apart. All this unrest led to the abdication of the Kaiser. Abdication means to quit being king. Germany was in complete chaos. Knowing that he had lost the support of the people, the Kaiser quit. On the 9th of November 1918, Kaiser Wilhelm abdicated. He had been told that this was the only way to restore order in Germany. Though he refused at first, he could see that he had lost the support of the army as well as of the people. He had little choice. In Berlin, a leading member of the SPD, that's the Socialist Party of Germany, Philipp Scheidemann, declared Germany to be a republic, a country without a monarch. However, there was now a power vacuum. Who would fill it, and who would rule Germany? There were factions competing for power in Germany, all with their own ideas as to how the country should be run after the Kaiser had quit. This continuum gives us an idea as to how the politics was structured. On the one side we have the extreme left, on the other side we have the extreme right, and then we have centrists. There are also those on the moderate left and on the moderate right. So how does this translate into different political parties in Germany in 1918? Starting at the extreme left, we have the KPD. These are the communists. They wanted a workers' revolution, much like had happened in Russia in 1917. Many Germans actually feared this though, so although there was quite a lot of working class support for the KPD, there were a lot of people who really feared them too. At the other end of the scale, we've got extreme nationalists. They wanted a right-wing dictatorship. This would later be reflected by Nazi and fascist ideas. The NSDAP, the Nazi party, was founded in 1920, but fascism as we understand it today was not yet really invented in 1918. On the moderate left we have the socialists. These included the SPD and the DDP, the Social Democrats and the German Democrats. Of the two, the SPD was by far the largest. They wanted more rights for workers, but not a communist revolution. They were supported by workers and the educated middle classes, but they still supported private ownership of businesses and land for the most part. They were the most powerful party in 1918-19. Then we have the moderate right. These included the DVP and the DNVP. These had conservatives or nationalist views. They tended to be supported by the wealthy landowners. And in the middle, we've got the centrists. The Zentrum or Centre Party mixed left and right-wing ideas, but were probably slightly more on the right. They were popular with Catholics, who had originally founded the party in Bavaria. In the event, it was the SPD, the socialists, who held most power in 1918. The Kaiser's most powerful minister was the Chancellor. On the day the Kaiser abdicated, November the 9th, the leader of the SPD became the new Chancellor. He quickly appointed a Council of People's Representation to rule the country temporarily and draw up a new constitution for the Republic, which will be the subject of our next video. With the support of other politicians and the army, the communists were kept out of power. Moderates were in charge, but only just. One of their first acts was to end the war, so that they could concentrate on Germany's problems and stop the bloodshed. An armistice was agreed with the Allies beginning on the 11th of November 1918. However, an armistice is actually a ceasefire. It didn't end the war legally. That would have to come later. There was a huge challenge establishing stability in Germany at this time. At the end of 1918, Germany was still in chaos. Returning soldiers, many of them armed, were deciding which political groups they wanted to back. People were cold, hungry and angry. People were also tremendously in grief. The situation was volatile. Ebert acted quickly. With no time to appoint new people, officials like judges who had served under the Kaiser kept their job. They tended to have very right-wing bias. The army promised to be loyal and to maintain order like a police force as long as the officers kept their ranks. Big businesses were reassured that there would be no state takeover of industry. After all, these were socialists in the government rather than communists. And workers and trade unions were promised reforms like an 8-hour working day that they had been fighting for some years. Based in the town of Weimar, escaping the violence erupting in Berlin, Ebert's government of left and right-wing compromises maintained a fragile control in 1919. And this is also why we call this period in German history the Weimar Republic. Let's consider our final points. What were the causes of the German Revolution? Germany's military and domestic situation was hopeless in autumn of 1918. The Kaiser abdicated, quit, in November the 9th, 1918. Then we got the main events of the revolution. Friedrich Ebert of the SPD, the Socialists, became the new Chancellor. He worked with other moderates to prevent a communist revolution. And so what were the outcomes? Ebert managed a series of compromises between moderates both on the left and the right of politics, trying to avoid extremism. The new Republic's government was based in the relatively safe town of Weimar, while there was so much violence in some of the big cities. This gave its name to the new Weimar Republic. Next lesson we'll have a look at how it was structured, but for now that's the end of this rapid revision video and I hope it's been useful to you. If it has, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks very much, and for now, goodbye.